Now, the promised shirt fronting of Vladimir Putin by Tony Abbott didn't happen, not surprisingly, when the two leaders met overnight. The highly anticipated meeting focused on the downing of flight MH17. In a tense 15-minute conversation, Mr Abbott demanded the Russian leader apologise and pay compensation to the families of the victims. Both leaders, however, did agree all relevant information should be provided to the independent authorities who are investigating the tragedy. So what does this mean for their next meeting at the G20 in Brisbane? I'm joined by 7 News political editor Mark Riley. Riles, Tony Abbott talking tough. Did he really talk tough in reality to Putin, or was it all very diplomatic?
Morning, Koshi. Well, diplomatically tough, I guess. I think he delivered on his metaphorical threat to shirt front, if not the physical threat. I don't think the Kremlin actually thought that Tony Abbott would drive his shoulder into Vladimir Putin's chest, but he confronted him and said that the intelligence that Australia has suggests that this was a Russian-supplied missile fired by pro-Russian militia in a Russian-controlled territory that took down a civilian plane, and he suggested that when the US had mistakenly shot down an Iranian airliner in about 1988, it apologised and it also compensated the families of the 290 people aboard that plane, and that Vladimir Putin should do the same in this instance. So it was a robust exchange, which is what Tony Abbott had promised, if not a physical one. The readout from the Kremlin this morning is that they kind of sniffed that the shirt fronting apparently did not happen. Well, yeah, and said that Mr Putin agreed with Tony Abbott that the lack of access to the crash site was unacceptable, but the Russian president blamed the Ukrainians rather predictably and said it was their military that was firing in the area and restricting access, and they should get out of the way, Koshi.
OK, I know media's focused on this issue a fair bit, but did it overshadow any work we had to do in APEC, or did we get some success there?
Look, it certainly dominated much of yesterday, but world leaders have to walk and chew gum at the same time, to coin a phrase. So there was other serious work being done at the same time, lots of multilateral agreements on trade, but also bilateral agreements that Australia is most interested in with China, that big free trade deal that we believe will be signed when the Chinese president comes here next week. So there was plenty of work being done on the sides as well as this, Koshi.
Will terrorism be high on the agenda of the G20? You know, just this week we're being asked to consider more troops to Iraq to fight Islamic State.
Yeah, look, just on that, the Australian government is saying today that that Barack Obama didn't actually ask for more Australian troops. He kind of said that maybe in the future we'll be coming to ask you, but there's no request at the moment. It won't be on the agenda as such, but it will be discussed with all those leaders in town in Brizzy over the weekend next week. There'll be lots of opportunity for Tony Abbott to have one-on-one meetings with the leaders on the side of the G20, and that will be discussed there, the issue of foreign fighters and terrorism. But the G20 will all be about the international economy, growth and jobs, Koshi.
OK. All right, mate. Good to see you. Thank you for that. Here's Sam.